नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनीति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद
It is breaking, Prabhu. It is breaking. Voice is little breaking.
Prabhu?
Voice is little breaking, Prabhu. Not.
Voice breaking? I don't know. We are using for the cell phone because it's Wi-Fi something problem.
Oh, okay. Maybe closer to it.
It's not what?
Yeah. Now it is okay. Maybe little closer to the watch. It might help. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare,
It is still breaking, Prabhu, completely.
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama, Rama
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Sorry, Mataji, can't hear. It's completely breaking.
Huh?
It's completely breaking, Prabhu.
Really? Okay, Prabhu, we are trying to something else. Once again.
Yeah. Used to do in laptop, right? Laptop was okay.
Krishna,
Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Oh gosh,
Hare
Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji,
Krishna.
Dandavat Pranam, all good Shri Prabhupada. Please
Hare
accept my
Krishna.
humble
Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Jai.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, Sargash to Srila Prabhupada, Sargash to the humble devotees.
Jai Prabhupada.
Seems like we are full house today.
Yeah, so nice to see everybody, and after quite some time, and Vatsala Mataji, so nice to hear your voice. Been a long time. I actually haven't had your darshan, so very
Thank
nice.
you, Prabhu. Sorry, Prabhu.
So, well, first of all, happy Narasimhadev Chaturdashi to everybody.
Thank you.
Jai Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki Jai. So hope you all had a wonderful celebration. At least from Mukta Sangha Prabhu's note, it seemed like you all had a very, very nice celebration.
Yes, Prabhu. Yesterday we had wonderful celebration at the temple.
Oh, that's wonderful. Same here. Here also we had a celebration at the temple and all that. So it was nice. It was very nice. Abhishek and Yagya, and then class, and then Aarti and all that. So it was wonderful.
Like nice fire sacrifice you had?
I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
Did you have fire sacrifice?
Fire sacrifice, yes. Yes.
Okay.
You were there at temple, Prabhuji, yesterday?
I wasn't there. My children were there. I was, yeah, because the timing gets very late,
Yes,
Well,
yes. Yeah, because it's the Abhishek starts itself 8:13.
Yeah, and then to come back from there and all that, the distance, it takes about an hour then again. So it gets really, really late,
Okay. Yeah.
How about you, Shiva Prabhu? Did you go?
No, Prabhuji, we also didn't go because it's a weekday, so it's a 2 hours drive.
Yeah,
So it's hard for us. Yeah,
very far,
yeah, very far for us. But we had like a live. Yeah, we watched the live.
Yeah, that's what we also did. We just watched live from home and participated that way. So
Yes.
it was very nice. It was very, very enlightening.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. So I think we should continue with the celebration of Narasimhadev Bhagwan as Mukta Sangha Prabhu suggested. So we'll probably try to do a little more glorification of Narasimhadev Bhagwan today. All right. So should we get started, Mukta Sangha Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Okay. We'll just start with the invocation prayers and then we'll continue from there. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakanamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sargana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesa Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Shri Radha Krishna Ji ki Jai. So I was just thinking, everybody knows the pastimes and the glories of the appearance of Narasimhadev Bhagwan. I'm not Sure. Well, Tyaguji, are you aware of the appearance, the story of Narasimhadev Bhawani?
Ji, I like to hear Ji.
Okay. Okay. Just give a quick kind of recap. I mean, in 2 or 3 minutes. So basically, Narasimhadev Bhagwan, he appeared. So he appeared to save Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj was a young 5-year-old boy, son of Hiranyakashipu. And although Prahlad Maharaj was born in a family of demons, because Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he is one of the 12 Mahajans, one of the 12 most exalted devotees. And Hiranyakashipu used to torment Prahlad Maharaj because Prahlad Maharaj was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. And Hiranyakashipu said, since I have conquered all the demigods and I am the most powerful person in the universe, you should worship me. And Prahlad Maharaj said that that's not right. Lord Vishnu is the Supreme Lord, so we should worship him. And so Hiranyakashipu was always angry with Prahlad Maharaj. And finally, and he tried many times to take his life even of his own son. But Prahlad Maharaj, being a devotee of the Lord, was always protected and he was safe and nothing ever happened to him. Finally, one day, Hiranyakashipu took Prahlad Maharaj on his lap and he said, he asked Prahlad Maharaj what was the best thing that he had learned. And Prahlad Maharaj very nicely again started talking about the glories of Lord Vishnu. And so Hiranyakashipu got very angry. He threw him on the floor and he said, now I'm going to kill you. And Prahlad Maharaj said, and Vishnu will not come and save you. And Prahlad Maharaj said, yes, he's everywhere. So Hiranyakashipu said, if he's everywhere, why can't you see him? Prahlad Maharaj said, I can see him. He said, is he in this pillar also? And Prahlad Maharaj said, yes. And so Hiranyakashipu tried to smash the pillar. And at that time, Narasimhadev Bhagwan, Lord Vishnu in the form of Narasimhadev Bhagwan, half man, half lion, he came out of the pillar and he saved Prahlad Maharaj and he killed Hiranyakashipu. So with that background, let's move forward. So when Narasimhadev had killed Hiranyakashipu, everybody, so the entire universe witnessed it. And the demigods were witnessing it too. And they were very amazed at this half man and half lion form. And so, as we are aware, everybody was so disturbed by the angry form of Narasimhadev that they, even though they knew that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this is God, but seeing that angry form, they were very afraid. And they said, how should we pacify him? So to pacify him, they thought, let us try to offer him prayers. So what I wanted to do was focus today on the prayers that the demigods offered Narasimhadev. So these prayers are very nicely listed in Canto 7 of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 7, so I'm going to just go to Canto 7, Chapter 8, starting verse 40. We have the prayers of the demigods. And I was thinking maybe let's try to meditate a little bit upon the prayers that were being offered and see what lessons we get from it and what instructions we get from it. So in verse 40, Brahmaji prays to Lord Narasimhadev. And I'll just give you the translation. Brahmaji prayed. He said, my Lord, you are the unlimited and you possess unending potencies. No one can estimate or calculate your prowess and wonderful influence, for your actions are never polluted by the material energy. So in this verse, Sukadeva Goswami describes the Lord as Duranta Shaktaye, Duranta means that is very difficult to find an end. Anta is end. Dur is very difficult to find. So very difficult. So Duranta means very difficult to find an end. In other words, the Lord's prowess is unlimited. So Duranta, and then Shaktai, he possesses different Shaktis, different potencies. And so Brahmaji tried to pacify Lord Narasimhadev by saying that you possess unlimited potencies and you create this universe, but still nobody can understand your reasoning for why you create things and the method in which you act, because your potencies are not possible for ordinary people to fully understand and fully grasp. Now, Brahmaji has been entrusted with the task of creating this universe and the living entities and so forth. So that's why Brahmaji was talking from his perspective. That, my Lord, even though I am your empowered servant who creates this universe, but still I cannot understand how you carry out the creation, how you've given me that power, and what activities you perform, because nobody had imagined that the Lord would appear in the form of a half man and half lion, and he would kill Hiranyakashipu by fulfilling all of the promises that Brahmaji had made to Hiranyakashipu, that he would not be killed in the day, not be killed in the night, not be killed by a man, not be killed by an animal, not be killed by a weapon, no astra shastra, inside, outside, day or night. So at dusk time, Hiranyakashipu was killed in the lap of Narasimhadev. So Brahmaji, from his perspective of being the creator, acknowledges to the Lord that, my Lord, I cannot even comprehend how you create and how you have empowered me. And then he says, through the material qualities, you very easily create the universe, maintain it, and you annihilate it. But even though you do that, yet you remain the same without deterioration, because you are not affected by the modes of nature. Even though you use material nature to create, maintain, and annihilate, but you are unaffected by it. So Brahmaji acknowledges the Shuddha Sattva position of the Lord by saying you are not affected by the modes of nature. He says, therefore I offer my respectful obeisances to you. Then Lord Shiva, he was there. He also started offering his prayers. So it says, Shri Rudra Uvacha, Kopakala Yugantaste Hatayam Asuro Alpakaha Tatsutam Pahi Upasratam Bhaktam Te Bhaktavatsala. Bhaktavatsala. So he says, Lord Shiva says that at the end of the millennium is the time for your anger. And now that this insignificant demon Hiranyakashipu has been killed, who are naturally affectionate, you, my Lord, who are naturally affectionate to your devotees, kindly protect his son Prahlad Maharaj, who is standing nearby as your fully surrendered devotee. Now, Shivji, as we know, is in charge of the annihilation. So he spoke from his perspective and his understanding. Shivji, when he annihilates this material creation, there is a certain element of krodha, anger. Anger has to be there in order to carry out the destruction. So Shivji, being in charge of destruction, when he saw Lord Narasimhadev's anger, he understood that actually this is the Supreme Lord, and Shivji was not afraid of the anger of Lord Narasimhadev. And he said, oh, my dear Lord, you exhibit this anger through me when it is time for annihilation. But right now is not the time for that annihilation. So please be kind to your dear devotee Prahlad Maharaj, who's standing here. So Shivji understood that the anger that the Lord was exhibiting was only to protect his devotee and not for the annihilation. So he was not afraid, because others were so afraid of that anger that they thought maybe the annihilation time had come. But Shivji, being in charge of annihilation, understood that. And so he was more comfortable. So Prabhupada says in the purport, during the period of annihilation, at the end of each millennium, the Lord becomes angry and the part of anger is played by Lord Shiva. And therefore he is called Rudra. When the Lord appeared in great anger to kill Hiranyakashipu, everyone was extremely afraid of the Lord's attitude. But Lord Shiva, knowing very well that the Lord's anger is also his Leela, was not afraid. So Shivji, we learn from Shivji not to be afraid of Lord Narasimhadev's angry form. That anger was only directed towards killing Hiranyakashipu and not anybody else. So we also know the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam dharma samsthapanarthaya samvami yuge yuge, that I appear to Paritranaya sadhunam, to deliver the devotees, and vinashaya cha duskritam, to destroy the miscreants, and dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish the principles of religion. So when he came as Narasimhadev, he basically came to protect Prahlad Maharaj. Annihilating Hiranyakashipu was a minor task for him. But the more important reason for Narasimhadev to appear in this form was to establish that he is always there to protect his devotees. He's always there to reciprocate with their loving feelings. And so he basically appeared because Prahlad Maharaj was very, very, very sincerely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and had complete faith that the Lord would always protect him. And so to keep that promise, Lord Narasimhadev appeared. By the way, Hiranyakashipu was killed, that's fine. But his main purpose of appearing was to protect Prahlad Maharaj and to indicate that he's always there to protect the devotees. Then, after Shivji's prayers, then Indradev started offering prayers. And Indradev says that all these years that Hiranyakashipu has been ruling over this universe, we have all been very, very upset and afraid. What had happened was Hiranyakashipu had become so powerful that he was even more powerful than the demigods. Indradev has a thunderbolt, and that thunderbolt is extremely powerful. But Hiranyakashipu had become so powerful that when Indradev threw the thunderbolt at his chest, it did nothing to Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu just laughed. So even Indradev was afraid of Hiranyakashipu. So all the demigods, all the devtas, they had fled from their abodes and they had taken on human forms and they were hiding in the material creation, hiding from Hiranyakashipu. But Narasimhadev, actually, the Lord is so powerful that we say in Narasimhadev, Tabakar Kamalavanena Kama Buddha Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa. That Hiranyakashipu, his chest was so strong and hard that even Indradev's thunderbolt couldn't destroy it. But Narasimhadev is so powerful that just by the tip of his fingernail, Tavakar Kamalavanena, just with the tip of his fingernail, he was able to rip apart the chest of Hiranyakashipu and destroy him. So the message there, Indradev is saying that, my Lord, your power, your potencies are inconceivable. Nobody can imagine how powerful and how strong you are. You are so strong that even this powerful demon was killed by the tip of your fingernail without any problem. somebody who we had been running away from all this time. And then Indradev says that my heart was filled with fear of Hiranyakashipu, and so we could not even focus on praying to you nicely. But you are so merciful, you have come and destroyed this demon who was terrorizing our hearts, who was disturbing our thoughts, and you have restored peace to our mind so that now we can focus on you. So this is a nice instruction for us. Whenever there is fear in our hearts, there is worry in our hearts, there's anxiety in our hearts, and that's always the case. That is the case with all of us. We all have so many worries and anxieties. But the Supreme Lord, Lord Narasimhadev, he can destroy all of those anxieties if we meditate upon him, if we keep him in our heart. Then he will give us the strength with which to deal with all of the anxieties and troubles that we may be facing. So Indradev's, I'll just read a little bit of the translation of his prayers. Indradev prayer said, "You are our deliverer and protector. Our shares of sacrifices are actually yours, but they had been taken away by the demon. Now, because demoniac king Hiranyakashipu was most fearsome, our hearts, which are your permanent abode, were all overtaken by him. Our hearts were full of fear of him. Now, by your presence, the gloom and darkness in our hearts have been dissipated. O Lord, therefore, for those who always engage in your service, which is more exalted than liberation, all material opulence is insignificant. They do not care for liberation, arth, kam, or moksha." So, Indradev gives us this instruction, or the instruction that we learn from Indradev's prayers to Lord Narasimhadev, is that the fears in our heart, the anxieties in our hearts, those can be immediately removed by Lord Narasimhadev if we meditate upon his form and if we sincerely pray to him. He will always protect us. The timing, it may take some time, but if we stay surrendered to him, he will give us the strength with which to deal with the anxieties that we are facing. Now, in this regard, Prahlad Maharaj, actually, when Hiranyakashipu asked him, "What is the best thing you've learned?" Prahlad Maharaj gave a very significant verse. He gave a very significant instruction, actually, to Narasimhadev, to Hiranyakashipu. He says, "Tat sadhu manne asurvajya dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam asatgrahat hitat pakam graha andakupam vanam gato yad harimashrayata." This is a very significant verse. The meaning is, Prahlad Maharaj says, Asurvarya, he refers to his father, Hiranyakashipu, as the best of demons. Asurvarya, oh best of demons. Asurvarya, Dehinam sada samudvigna dhyam. Dehinam means a person who has accepted a material body, like us. We are all spirit souls, but we have accepted material bodies. So we are called Dehinam. And he says, Sada samudvigna. We are always in anxiety. Sada samudvigna dhyam. Always in anxiety. Why are we always in anxiety? Asat grahat. Asat means not real. And grahat means home. So asat grahat. We have accepted a place of residence which is not our real residence. We have accepted this temporary material body and we are residing in this body. This is not where we are supposed to be. And because we are in this temporary body and we are actually eternal beings, always supposed to be always full of bliss and happiness, but we find ourselves now trapped in this material body. So we are looking for happiness, but we don't find it. And we look for happiness in this material environment and we don't find it because that's not where happiness can be found. Instead, what we get is constant anxiety. Why anxiety? Because this material environment is full of anxieties, full of trouble. The body is full of trouble. So the living entity which is in this body is always looking for security, happiness, doesn't find it. So that's why it's constantly anxious. Think of an example. If you see a bird, if you have a bird sitting outside on your deck, for example, I've been talking so much, I want somebody to kind of answer this. If you see the bird, what do you observe the bird doing?
Freedom. It can fly wherever.
Sure, it can fly wherever. But what if you put some grains of rice there?
Peck.
Peck, right?
It is
And
either
what-
choosing or eating. Prabhuji.
Yes, exactly. It's always eating. And then what, like when you observe the bird, it will come, it will eat, and then what will it do?
You can see here and there.
Look
It will
around.
look left, right, and then it'll pick up a little seed. And then again it'll look left, right, then it'll pick up a seed. Because it's constantly in anxiety. Is there any danger? Is there any danger? Somebody coming to grab me. And when he sees the coast is clear, then he quickly picks up a grain, and then again he starts looking around. See, this is when we observe other living entities, other animals, you can see the anxiety that is there in them. They're always concerned about the safety of their bodies. Even an ant, if there's an ant walking on the floor, you put your foot in front of it, it'll come up to your foot, then it'll go around the other side, It'll be like, why is this thing here? And if you try to flap your foot, it'll run back and things like that. See, I mean, every living entity wants to preserve their life. We all have this natural instinct. We take it as natural instinct, but the natural instinct, where is it coming from? It's coming from the fact that we are spirit souls. We are eternal. And because we are eternal, we don't ever die. It's the body that dies. So because we are always, because we are eternal, any situation that presents bodily danger, we try to protect against it. And so it's not only us human beings, it's the animals. They also do the exact same thing because they are also spirit souls living in an animal body. So that's why Prahlad Maharaj says, Dehinam sada samudviknan dhyam. Any embodied living entity, they are constantly in anxiety for their own safety and for their own survival. So what is the solution to this anxiety? So he says that sada samudviknan dhyam asal grahat hitat pakam graha andakupam vanam gato yat harimashrayata. So he says vanam gato yat harimashrayata, meaning give up. Vanam gato literally means go to the forest. But as a grahastha, we cannot just give up everything and go to the forest. But what he means is that surrender to the Supreme Lord. Vanam gato yat harim ashrayata. Ashray means shelter of Hari. Take the ashray, the shelter of Hari. Hari is the Supreme Lord's a name for the Lord because he can remove our worries. Hari means har lena, to remove, to destroy, to take away. Take away what? All of our worries and tensions. So that's why the Lord is also referred to as Hari. And he says, when you take Harim Ashrayata, or shelter of the Supreme Lord, he will take away all your worries and stresses. So this was Prahlad Maharaj's wonderful instruction to his father. And Hiranyakashipu became very angry when he heard this. And he said, what do you mean Harim Ashrayata? You should take shelter of me. I am the most powerful person in the universe. So anyway, as a result of that, finally, he was destroyed. And we find in these prayers so far some very nice instructions. How are we doing for time, Prabhu?
Yeah, it's still okay, bro.
It is, what time is it?
8:40 now.
Okay, so maybe another 5-7 minutes more, and then we can leave some for questions. So then, this was the prayers of Lord Brahmaji. then, there were prayers offered by the rishis who were there, the pitras. I'm just seeing the inhabitants of Siddhalok, they prayed. And then there were inhabitants of Naglok, the Vidyadhars, they came and prayed. The Manus offered their prayers, etc. Finally, they all tried to pacify him, to pacify Lord Narasimhadev. And then finally, they said, okay, now Prahlad Maharaj, you please go forward. The Lord has appeared basically because of you. So you go and offer your prayers to the Supreme Lord. And in fact, as you all know, even Lakshmi Devi was requested to come and try and pacify the Lord, but she said, I have never seen such an angry form of the Lord, and even she was nervous. So then Prahlad Maharaj was asked to go forward, and Prahlad Maharaj, he was actually not afraid of the Lord. He was so full of ecstasy and joy when he saw the Supreme Lord that he stood there with folded hands and he offered many wonderful prayers to the Lord. One of which was, he said, oh my Lord, what qualification do I have to offer you prayers? First of all, I'm only 5 years old. I'm a small boy. I don't know much. Second of all, I'm born in a family of asuras. I am the son of Hiranyakashipu. I don't even have any good qualification of birth. My birth is in a demoniac family. I'm a son of an asura. And the great sages and all the devtas and Devi devtas, they are here. They are offering you prayers. And even they cannot pacify you. What can I do? So Prahlad Maharaj's humility comes shining through in his approach to Lord Narasimhadev. But when he approached Lord Narasimhadev, Lord Simha was so pleased with him, with loving hands. Narasimhadev picked him up. Now imagine, these are the same big hands, long nails that had just killed Hiranyakashipu and pulled out his intestines. And they were blood soaked. But still, Prahlad Maharaj was not afraid. Hiranyakashipu, Lord Narasimhadev picked him up, placed him on his lap very nicely, placed his hand on his head, and everybody was pacified and happy. So Prahlad Maharaj demonstrates to us the mood of a Vaishnava. Consider yourself unqualified to be able to please the Lord. After all, who can please the Lord? We cannot know, nobody can control the Lord. The Lord is all powerful and he's infinite. But if we make a sincere attempt, and if there is humility in our heart and simply the desire to please the Lord, then he is pleased. And Prahlad Maharaj demonstrated that. He said, I have no qualification with which to please you or pacify you, but I want to please you. So, as you all have heard, there's this famous pastime of Prabhupada, Leela Amrita, where Prabhupada says you should always chant and be Krishna conscious and you can go back to Godhead. And devotees said, how can we be 100% Krishna conscious? Right? Because it's very difficult to be perfect. And Prabhupada says, okay, 90%. And still devotees were wondering. Finally, Prabhupada said, okay, even if you're 70% Krishna conscious, I'll take it back to Godhead. Now, I've discussed this with many devotees, and what does that 70% mean? And at least I have never come across a clear explanation of what that 70% means, right? I don't know if you have, Mukta Sangha Prabhu.
I have heard this example, but I don't know the significance of 70%.
So one of the thoughts, one of the realizations that I've been having on this is, basically, there's no way that we can measure the 70%. In fact, I was discussing this with with this wonderful devotee. He teaches Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Shastris, all that. He's from Washington. So now nobody knows really what that 70% means. There's no checklist that if you do this, then you're 100% Krishna conscious. So if you do 70% of that, you're 70%. The bigger takeaway is the Lord is infinite. How can we, as a devotee, have complacency and say that, oh, okay, now everything that I'm doing, this is enough to satisfy the Lord? Because that is not humility. Then that would be a little bit of arrogance on our part, right? That if we think that, okay, I am chanting 16 rounds, I'm following 4 negative principles, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, now the Lord will be pleased with me. We cannot take that for granted. The material world is a place of, as Prabhupada says, great danger. There's padam padam yat vipada. And this is from Brahmaji's prayers to Lord Krishna in the 10th canto. Padam padam yat vipada. That there is danger at every step in this material world. And what are some of the dangers? Not just physical danger, material danger, but danger to our minds, that our minds will get puffed up and arrogant. And we think that, oh, now I'm a great devotee and the Lord will be pleased to accept me. That's a danger. We can never think like that. So because there is no end to how much spiritual progress we can make, there is no end to how much spiritual progress we can make. That's why this is a constant effort. And so that's why when Prabhupada says, okay, even if you're 70%, it basically means that we will never be perfect. But as long as we keep trying our best, to please the Lord will be pleased by our effort and he will accept us. So that's why in the Damodar Leela also, when we talk about the rope being 2 fingers short, one finger represented the effort, the second finger represented the mercy of the Lord. So when we put in effort, the Lord will bless us with his mercy, and then we'll be able to please the Lord. So it all boils down to this, that we can never consider ourselves so good and so perfect that, oh, now the Lord will be pleased with me. No, we have to constantly keep improving. In the material world, they call it constant improvement, right? There are all these theories and things like that of continuous improvement. They call it continuous improvement. That's like a phrase that's out there. But in spiritual life, that's what it is really all about. It's all about continuous improvement, trying to make improvement constantly. And that improvement, that attitude that I am not perfect and that I need to make continuous improvement is exemplified by Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers to the Supreme Lord, where he says, look at my disqualifications. I'm the son of an Asura. But still you are so kind that you have come to protect me, saved me from my father. And then Prahlad Maharaj says that even though my father was a demon, you please forgive him. Which of course he was forgiven, because it's the whole story of Jay and Vijay. He's originally the doorkeeper of the Lord's abode. So beautiful lesson for us from Prahlad Maharaj's prayer is that never be complacent in spiritual life. We can never take it for granted that we've done enough or learned enough or we are good enough, that kind of thing. As long as we keep making constant improvement, because the Lord is infinite. So our effort to please him has got to be constant. And if the effort is sincere and if the desire is to please the Lord, then eventually we may develop a little love for him. And when we develop love for him by following the regulative principles, then the Lord will be pleased to accept us. So I'll stop here, Prabhuji, open it up for questions and comments, and if others would like to share their thoughts and realizations, it'd be very nice. So Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki
Jai. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for sharing such a nice pastimes, and the most important is the essence, the take homes, So what you mentioned is really helpful. Thank you. So I have one question, Prabhu.
Yes.
I heard this in several lectures of ISKCON, Guru Varg and the other senior disciples, that Hiranyakashipu asked for this boon, right? Never to be killed either outside, inside, day, night. So all these conditions, Lord comes and meets those conditions, right? And one of the condition in Varaha Puran, not Varaha Puran, sorry, Narasimha Puran. Narasimha Puran, it says that Hiranyakashipu also asked boon that in any of these 12 months, he should not be killed. So how is this condition met, bro? So he's killed in one day, one of the days in 12 months, right? So do you know how is this condition met?
In one of the days of the 12 months?
No, any of the 12 months, he should not be killed.
I had not heard about the any of the days of the 12 months. Of course, day and night we had heard of. So that's why he was killed at dusk, when it was neither day nor night.
Yeah, I know that all the other conditions are met, on the lap and at dusk and in neither
Neither in the air nor on the ground.
Yeah,
So, he was
so
on the
all
lap.
those conditions are met, but this one I still didn't get an answer for that. But any of the 12 months you created should not be, I should not die in those months.
I don't know if that was during when Narasimhadev appeared, was it during Purushottam month, which was the 13th month? So it wasn't one of the 12 months.
Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm assuming, but I didn't get a concrete answer. So I thought if you would know.
I don't know. Actually, this is worth researching. So I don't know, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhu. Thank you. Saujanya Mataji. You are on.
Prabhuji, yeah. So even I have not heard this. This is first time I'm hearing. But is it mentioned in Bhagavatam where Sukadeva Goswami describes in detail what was the boon that what's his name, Hiranyakashipu asked? I don't remember seeing it in Srimad Bhagavatam, but unless I can go back and look. But you did mention in the beginning that you heard this in some Purana, right, Prabhuji?
Narasimha Purana, it is there. And also I heard this from devotees, many devotees.
So what was the answer that the devotees gave? Or what answer does Narasimha Puran give?
He says, one of the months, there is 1 day extra. So which month we don't know. According to the solar and lunar calculations, if you do, it is not. That is why there is in 1 year, there is one time 365 days and 366 days.
Yeah.
Okay. There is 1 day extra. Okay, so that 1 day doesn't belong to any of these 12 months.
Oh, so that's
he was killed. So
that is entirely possible. Yeah.
So I just wanted to, because that's what I heard, but I'm not sure if that is true or is it given somewhere, if there is any reference to it.
Well, we'll look for it. I mean, so in the 7th canto, of course, all the austerities of Hiranyakashipu, those are all described. So
maybe it is not there in Srimad Bhagavatam, but it is there in Narasimha Puran.
That's possible. That's possible. That he asked for the special benediction of not being killed in any of the months. So this was a special day which belonged to none of the months. Yep, that's entirely possible. There has to be, right? I mean, the Lord, when Narasimhadev appeared, I'm sure he satisfied all these conditions. So, Hare Krishna, Ram Sham.
Lord is always put into trouble by other demigods. They give all kinds of boon, Lord has to satisfy.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Ram Sham Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Jai Prabhupada.
Saujanya Mata, you had a question?
Prabhuji, I raised my hand from before, but I also wanted to say if you can send us that link, a reference that where you read that, the Nursing Puran, just to read, Prabhuji.
Yeah, I'll find out, Mati. I'll find out. I'm curious also. Before this month, I'll find out.
Yeah.
If anybody else has comments, questions.
I have the two things I felt to share as a reflection, Prabhuji.
Yes.
One is like how Narasimhadev assured that how Lord Shiva said we should not be scared of God, but then how you explain that by with the context of Lilamrita from Prabhupada, as a practical application, this is what that stuck to my mind, is that one is, first of all, we should not get demotivated that we are not struggling, because we cannot achieve perfection for sure. We cannot do 100%. But at the same time, it should grow in a positive way that then God will see our struggle. Because I see some devotees, or even myself sometimes, and it happens, I don't know how to explain as an example, how you don't demotivation. I don't know if I should call the word as demotivation, but then instead we should take that as a positive, that we are struggling, at least because we want to achieve. And the second part, at the same time, we should be humble, like how you said, Prahlad Maharaj, how he was saying, I'm not fit to glorify you. So it's such a balance, we shouldn't come down, at the same time we shouldn't go up feeling proud or anything like that. So just those two things stuck to my mind that I wanted to share. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. This is nice, very nice reflections. Yeah, and we can discuss this another time more detail, but the thing about humility, it's very important to be humble, but there has to be confidence underlying humility. And confidence not in our capabilities, but confidence in the fact that we are part and parcel of Krishna. So he has invested in us certain qualities. So the confidence comes from there. But then if we use those qualities to serve Krishna in a humble way, then they will prevent us from becoming arrogant. So that's the balance. So thank you for bringing that up, Mataji. I think there are other questions also, so we'll go ahead to Spurti Mataji. Hand.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
We can't hear you. Shiva Prabhu, we cannot hear you. I think some connection issue. Vatsala Mataji?
Haribol Prabhu, Tandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna Prabhu. I think the Lord Krishna is always trying to protect the devotees. Final word is always, if you believe in him, if you have strong faith in him, in the Shastras or his words, he always comes up to help you in any which form you like, the form that you may not be expecting. He comes and rescues you or gives you benediction or blessings. And it's also nice of Prahlad Maharaj that he did not look for, even though in spite of all the evil things that his father did, he always wanted to protect it. He was very humble. He always was very respectful. And he always wanted to show his father that he cared. I think it is very hard to believe somebody, some child could, at the tender age of 5, could behave like that, always looking out for, others, especially extreme behavior of his father. It is hard to believe, but always Lord was showing up. So that is so amazing. Always wanted to protect the devotees. For example, I am struggling to chant my rounds early in the morning. I used to do good, then everything fell down. No Brahma Muhurta anymore. So as long as I can finish my rounds, being truthful in what I can do, that's all it matters sometimes. We may be thinking, oh, I'm doing pretty good, then everything falls apart. Then you have to jump or have that determination and pray to Lord Krishna. I want to do it. Please, it doesn't have to be Brahma Muhurta. At least let me finish everything before that night. So I think, Krishna watches you, but he's always helpful to you. That I have seen. Thank you, Prabhu. This is all my reflection.
Thank you so much for sharing that reflection, Mataji. That's a beautiful, beautiful reflection, because, this body becomes weaker and weaker and weaker, as you progress with age. And so certain things like etc., which was possible in younger time, is not possible now. But it's so nice that you are sincerely praying to the Lord and you're seeing that He's helping you finish your rounds. He's helping you do everything that you would like to do in His service. And that's all that matters.
Yeah, I think sometimes we take our body for granted, that we need the body to do our thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes we try very hard. I can feel it now when you are sitting down, and then you have to keep walking around, but you cannot be sitting in the same place for ever, continuously. If you sit, you have a problem. That I didn't experience before, but I'm experiencing it now. So we have to mold ourselves. We have to know our body so that we can finish what we have to do for Krishna.
Absolutely.
In a daily basis. So I realize that,
Absolutely,
so,
wonderful realization. It ties
Thank
into verse from Bhagavatam, Brahmaji's prayers, that that despite inconveniences, despite problems, if we continue to try to please the Lord through our devotional practices, the Lord will accept that effort. So thank you for sharing that very, very wonderful realization, Mataji. It's wonderful. Good instruction for all of us.
Thank you,
Do
Prabhu.
you remember that verse, Prabhu?
Yeah, that's the Tatya Anukampam Susamikshamanam. So he says, Hridvag Vapurbir Vidana Namaste Jivetayo Mukti Pade Sadayavak. So Tatya Anukampam Susamikshamana Bhunjan Evatma Kritam Vipakam, meaning Tatya Anukampam. Anukampam is Lord's mercy. Tatya Anukampam Susamikshamano. That the devotee earnestly waits for the Lord's mercy. Tatya Anukampam Susamikshamana Bhunjan, that is bearing, tolerating, Evatma Kritam Vipakam. So Vipakam are all the difficulties that we are facing. And so Bhunjan Evatma Kritam Vipakam, meaning that the devotee realizes that the difficulties that we are facing are due to our own past karma, our own actions. And so we tolerate that. But despite those inconveniences, despite those problems, Hridvag Vapurbir Vidadan Namaste, that with the heart, Hrid, Vag, words, and Vapur, with the body. Hridvag Vapurbir Vidadhan Namaste, offer obeisances to the Lord, engage in your devotional practices. Jiveta Yo, one who lives like this, Mukti Pade Sadayavak. He is eligible for liberation, Mukti Pade. And in fact, this verse was quoted by Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he actually changed it and he said, Hridvag Vapurbi Vidana Namaste Jiveta Yo Bhakti Pade Sadayavak. And Lord Chaitanya said, why are you changing Mukti Pade to Bhakti Pade? So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said that the devotee doesn't want Mukti, he wants Bhakti. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and he said that the Lord can award all liberations. That's why he's called Mukti Pade. So Bhakti Pade, the devotee doesn't desire liberation, but the Lord can offer all kinds of liberation, including elevation to Vaikuntha, to the spiritual world. So that's why don't change it to Bhakti Pada, just leave it at Mukti Pade Sadavak. So the meaning is the same. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's intent was good, but that is the verse. Tatya Anukampam. A very, very powerful verse for devotees to remember at all times, because especially in times of difficulty, we wonder that why are there difficulties, and how should we handle them? And Prabhupada in his purport to this verse says, just as a son has to just stay alive in order to inherit the father's wealth, he just has to stay alive. So same way, a devotee just has to spend their life just engaging in the devotional service of the Lord. And they do that despite circumstances, the Lord will award them liberation and devotion.
Thank you, Prabhu. It is very nice.
You're welcome, Madhuri.
Okay.
Anyone else?
Prabhuji, which canto, which chapter verse? I don't know if you could.
That verse,
said, I missed it.
It looks to be Prabhu 10th canto, 14th
10, 48.
chapter. 8. Yeah.
What is this again?
Prabhuji,
10,
you said 10, 14,
10,
10, 14, 8.
14, 8.
Yeah.
So the verse you quoted is from there. Okay.
That's the verse, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
This whole chapter, Madhaji, 10, 14, these are Brahmaji's prayers to Lord Krishna. It is a beautiful, beautiful chapter with so many eye-opening realizations. And maybe next time we can discuss one of those, one more verse from there. It's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful verse. I mean, that whole chapter is very instructive for devotees. So Shiva Prabhu had a question at that time, I don't know.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Yeah, my system has some audio functionality issues. So my question was the same, like what Shala Mataji asked, right? Prabhuji, so the same way. The realization was the same realization I had. So I mean, Prahlad Maharaj is, though his father is troubled him much, but still he, he respected him very well. So that's what I had.
The one thing to add to that is that, so Prahlad Maharaj, even though he was 5 years old, I mean, the 5 years old just refers to the material body, but Prahlad Maharaj is basically a Mahajan, a Bhagavad. He's a pure devotee of the Lord. So the body being only 5 years old doesn't really matter. You see? But Prahlad Maharaj represents compassion, the Vaishnav compassion. And he is the embodiment of Vaishnav compassion, where he says to the Lord that I'll take the trouble, I'll take on all troubles of devotees, but you give them liberation. That is the mood of compassion of it. And then in modern times, Prabhupada has represented that, because he took on so much of inconvenience and trouble to come from Vrindavan over to the US, where at the age of 69, where 70, where there's no health insurance, there's nothing. I mean, and he just came over to the US. No ordinary person would be able to even take on such a big risk. And he did it simply to give people Krishna consciousness, to give us relief from this material world, to give us a process by which we can come out of this cycle of birth and death. So he is the embodiment, the modern day embodiment of Vaishnav compassion. And Prahlad Maharaj is the Shastric embodiment of Vaishnav compassion. And so Prabhupada says, even if we have 1%, even if we have 1% of the compassion that Prahlad Maharaj has, we will be great Vaishnavas.
Great. That is very yeah,
So that is Prahlad,
yeah,
that
and I had one in lecture. There is one more thing, Prabhuji, like when Lord appears, it seems to be Prahlad Maharaj felt like, I was not able to serve my Lord. I was not able to give water or and garland. So and the Simhasana. So that was really so much. Prabhuji.
that's what Amrendra Prabhu was saying last.
Yes, yes. Last class.
He very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Kirtida Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
While you were giving the example of Prahlad Maharaj, I was just thinking, so most of the Bhagavatam examples, what we read or hear is like the personalities there, they're either acting like that either because of any curse or some kind of blessing, some special mercy of the Lord. So but we are humans, we are not at like say in the example of Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad Maharaj, to be like Prahlad Maharaj, because that's the essence what we are seeing here, to get the qualities of a devotee from Prahlad Maharaj. But he had that special blessings from the Lord. He had, like most of the examples, whatever we read, it's because of the Lord they are behaving like that. But how can we follow that? Because we are just humans, we cannot, like how much ever we hear, the tendency is to forget that very quickly when the circumstance arises.
Right. Oh, very nice question, Mataji. So basically, if I understood correctly, your doubt is that Prahlad Maharaj, he's an exalted personality, he's a Mahajan. So he can exhibit this kind of compassion, for example, or this kind of fearlessness in the face of such great danger. He was so fearless. But we are ordinary human beings. What should we do, right? Is that the essence of it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Not only just Prahlad Maharaj, but all the examples, what we read from Bhagavatam,
yes,
they have that special mercy from the Lord. That's why they are behaving like that.
Correct. So Anusaran and Anukaran, those are the principles, meaning we can follow the great personalities, but we cannot imitate them. And that is what you basically just said. Like Shivji, he drank poison. We cannot even touch that poison. When you touch the poison, you die. So, but the idea is that we follow their instruction. So when Prahlad Maharaj's instruction is that there should be compassion, when Prahlad Maharaj is exemplifying compassion, and Prabhupada actually did it, he demonstrated it. Prabhupada also was not an ordinary human being, right? He's a special empowered representative. But what that means for us is that in our lives, when we are faced with a situation where we have to make a choice between either being compassionate or being retaliatory, then we choose the path of being compassionate. Of course, we will never be able to match the compassion that Prabhupada demonstrated, or Prahlad Maharaj, of course. But at least in our day-to-day life, in our own circumstances, if we demonstrate, we'll always have a choice, right? You'll always have a choice. Let's say somebody is not kind to you. You go to the temple, some devotee or some other person, somebody behaves with you in a way which is not kind. So you'll have an option. Should I be compassionate to this person or should I retaliate? Right? So in that sort of a circumstance, the better choice for us is to remember the example of Prahlad Maharaj and then just forgive them, be compassionate. Of course, if the person is stealing from you, you have to go and tell the police. Then you cannot say that, oh, I'm a compassionate devotee, I'll let you keep stealing. I mean, that is not practical. But within
choice to remember, like the right thing to make the choice, the remembrance also is the mercy of the Lord.
So the remembrance, Mataji, the remembrance will come with constant association with Shastra and Sadhu. That's why you see this whole thing of being in the company of devotees, having, like, say, we are doing these discussions right now. These things constantly remind us. And whenever there are challenges that we face, it is these sorts of discussions, it's these sorts of things that we have read, lectures we have heard, they come to our rescue. We will remember them. The more we associate with these things, the more we remember them. Have you felt that way, that if you like hear a lecture, whether it's Prabhupada's or, whoever's, at some point it comes into your memory?
Yes, true, Prabhuji. For some time you will remember that and you try to behave in a softer way.
Yeah. And then, it's a matter of practice then. After that, it is constant practice. And, you have such wonderful association, Mukta Sangha Prabhu, all these nice devotees from Philadelphia, you all have so much of association. And it's each other's association that inspires us. And, that's why our Goswamis have given us these instructions also. Forgetting the Sanskrit now, but when you meet devotees who are more advanced than you are, you take instruction from them. When you meet devotees at your level, you are happy because you have a friendly relationship. When you meet somebody who's less advanced than you are, then you're compassionate, you help them. These exchanges between devotees are very, very important because they remind us how we can conduct ourselves in a certain Vaishnav way when the time arises.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for the question.
Prabhu, I have another question. Please, may I ask?
Sure, Madhuri.
Prabhu, this is like, I always realize that we are always moving from, transitioning from different gunas every day, 3 modes of behavior.
Sure.
So one day what we may react with somebody, then we go back and realize maybe I was not very compassionate. This is not a good etiquette or a good quality. Then you go back and think for yourself and you try to be a little bit more pleasant. I have realized it. You sometimes may have to forgive that person, because if it is not going to help me in my spiritual realization or spiritual path, I don't think Krishna would like that. Even though they may have done atrocious things, we try to think in a more positive way. Just, is it helping me in my spiritual life? If not, just to omit that and go forward and do something better for yourself. And what is important, every day is counted. This may be the last day. Just being grateful and show gratitude to Lord and see what we can do in a more pleasant and positive way. Because anyway, it's Krishna is our eternal friend. Whoever we may have, husband, wife, everybody has to go, friendship, everything has to go one day. So only person constant in our life is Krishna, and he's our eternal friend. So whatever that comes up, maybe Krishna is trying to tell you that you may have to work on that, right? So
that's absolutely right, Madhuri. I think you made a very, very important point. It's a great realization. We hear this many times that Krishna is our only real friend, but I think what you said demonstrates that you actually do realize that too, right? Because there's a limitation that anybody, all of our well-wishers, all of our loved ones, all of our friends, associates, there's only so much that they can do. After a certain point, it's in Krishna's hands.
Yes.
Life is in Krishna's hands. And while loved ones are there to help us, but it's Krishna helping us through them. And at the end of the day, you come alone, you go alone.
Yes.
But to the extent that we keep remembering Krishna during the time that we are alive and around, he will come to our rescue at the end for sure. That's the promise that he's made. But in the
Yeah, I
meantime,
think it is. We are facing a lot of difficult time right now. So many things are happening. I mean, materially, a lot of things are not really good. But
right.
I think we are very, we should be very thankful to Lord Krishna that at least we can remember, at least Srila Prabhupada is in our mind.
Yes.
He has given the mantra. He came and worked for us, toiled for us. At least we can do something to improve. It's all big, just like Prahlad Maharaj, every other devotees, realized soul, Mahajans. Srila Prabhupada is a poor soul, not pure, I should say. He wanted everybody to elevate themselves to, to a certain point. So it is in our hands anyway.
Absolutely, Madhuri.
So we should be grateful for that.
Yes, because without this, can you imagine how difficult it would be?
Oh my God. At the end of our life, it is going to be very difficult. We are seeing here every day so many other material inflation, everything. People come and go, people die, but still you have something to make you feel better. And you think you have Srila Prabhupada, you have Krishna and all the Mahamantra. So that's what is going to protect you no matter what.
And we see in devotees' lives how how the Mahamantra and how Krishna comes and protects them for sure, takes them through the difficult situations. Sometimes we as devotees feel we are devotees, why should there be difficult situations? Well, if we were so perfect, then we wouldn't be in this material world. We have a material body because there is karma associated with us, which has to be burnt off. And so, but if we take to the process of devotional service, then Krishna will help us and guide us through this process of burning off the karma so that then we don't have to come back here again.
Yeah, I have seen the helping hand. Krishna sees our issues, material issues. Somehow you get the relief from him. Somehow he helps you out. He knows your situation. I have seen it in my life from last year to this year, how he can change your life, and is the absolute truth.
Yes.
So, yeah, I have seen it in my life. So that I have to be thankful for that,
Absolutely. Gratitude to the Lord is very important.
Yes, Prabhu. Just wanted to share this with you, Prabhu. Thank you, everybody.
So wonderful, Mataji, for sharing. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's inspiring for all of us to hear this.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Varnangi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanush Pranam Sarveshwar Srila Prabhupada.
Krishna Mataji. Jai Prabhupada. No problem.
Prabhuji, I have like 2 reflections, but before that, I wanted to add a point like what Kirtita Mataji has, like for like how we can, because all the souls, I mean, all of them are like Mahajans. How can we develop and you mentioned like we have to develop compassion, Prabhu. There, like I heard in a lecture by Nitai Sevni Mataji, in which it was mentioned that how can we develop a quality? Even to develop a quality, we have to pray for that quality. Like we say that we need compassion, we should be compassion. We read, we do all that, but we really don't apply it when it is practically happening, the situation. So how can we develop is like everyday prayers, like how we pray to the Lord. In that prayers, we should start including like at least I please give me the desire to become compassion first of all. So when we develop that desire and we include this every day, we would start applying it. That's what Mataji had mentioned in that lecture, Prabhu. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a very, very nice point. When you pray for a certain benediction, basically, you're asking the Lord to make you a better devotee by blessing you with a certain quality.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. And the reflection is like, Prabhu, the Lord didn't appear for Hiranyakashipu even though he was so powerful, He was ruling all the three worlds. Even the demigods were afraid. And he was controlling even the sun and the moon, everything. He had everything. But he
Mhm.
didn't have the real knowledge about the Supreme Absolute. But Prahlad Maharaj didn't have anything. Like materially, he didn't have anything. He
Mhm.
had the quality of a Vaishnava, humility, and he wanted to preach.
Mhm.
At the age of 5, he started preaching wherever he went, even to the school where he went, he started preaching.
Right.
So, uh, like we need to, I need to learn that. Like without anything, just, Prahlad Maharaj wanted only the Supreme Lord and he just completely surrendered. So we should develop that quality. First of all, faith, strong conviction that Lord will come. Yes,
Right.
Prabhu. Yeah, that was one thing. And one more thing is like Prahlad Maharaj uh, followed the instruction of his guru, even the guru was not next to him or he didn't have any association with the guru.
Right.
Uh, but we always want our personal association with the guru, we want to talk and we need to get all instruction directly from guru. So I was thinking even about that, Prabhu. Yes, thank you.
Very nice reflections, Mataji. You know, yes, like the second point about Guru, they say, Guru says, Vani is more important than Vapu. So if you associate with the Vani of the Guru, the instructions of the Guru, that is more important than associating with the personal Vapu, the bodily form of the Guru. Many times you see devotees say, oh, we spend so much time with Guru Maharaj, we spend so much
Yes.
time. Nothing wrong with that. It's very nice. But when you're away from there, then are you following the instructions of Guru or not? And at the end of the day, how much time did Prabhupada spend with Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj? Not much. His Vapu association was very limited. It was all Vani association. You see, following the instructions of the Guru is where the real challenge comes. In your day-to-day life, are you following the instructions of Guru? That's how you can really please the Guru. Being
Yes.
in the physical presence of the Guru. Now, like I know when His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj comes, all disciples will come, you all will come. It is very inspiring, but it is only for a short period of time, you know. So it's very important to constantly, on a day-to-day basis, if you're associating with the instructions of Guru, then Guru is always with you. And that's the reality of our life. You see, we are trying to get to Krishna. We cannot even see him, but his instructions are there in the Bhagavad Gita. Those are words of Krishna, and Srimad Bhagavatam is words about Krishna, the pastimes of Krishna, the instructions or the kathas of Krishna. So associating with the instructions of Guru is very important. And what was the earlier point that you had made, Matari, about Prahlad Maharaj? There was something I wanted to say, but I'm forgetting what your...
Even though like Hiranyakashipu had everything, but Prahlad Maharaj did not have position. He was a very small boy. He was not ruling. He didn't
Right.
have any kind of weapons, nor he was not even going to the Vedic school for studying shastras in the in the
Mhm.
stipulated manner. But still, he knew that he should just completely surrender to the absolute Lord, and he was preaching. So Lord appeared for him, but not for Hiranyakashipu. Didn't know that. He
Yeah.
didn't have.
See, yeah, go ahead, Matari. Sorry.
No, that's what Prabhu. That's what I want.
Yeah, I remembered your point about preaching. That's what I wanted to comment on. So when you're, everything you said just now, Matari, this is all preaching. You are doing it. You're doing exactly that. So, basically, glorification of the Lord anywhere, whether it is at home with one person or with a group of 10 people or in a large assembly of 100 people, glorification of the Lord is equally powerful wherever you do it.
True,
It,
Prabhu.
it is equally it is equally pleasing to the Lord. And the Guru says, instructs us to preach, but where, when, and how, just according to time, place, and circumstance. If our desire is to discuss Krishna Katha with whoever we can, that's equally pleasing to the Lord. The size of the assembly doesn't matter. It's what's in your heart. Krishna is Bhavagrahi. It's your desire to please him through his glorification. That's what's pleasing to the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Mother. No, very nice reflections and very nice realizations that were shared today. I mean, this is so inspiring and so wonderful. There's a lot of depth of realizations and reflections amongst the devotee group. I'm very, very fortunate to have your association.
We are very fortunate to have you, Prabhu.
No, it's all
Yes,
mutual.
Prabhu.
Yeah, we are very fortunate, Prabhu.
Yes,
Yeah.
Prabhu.
Yes, we are very
Yeah.
lucky to have you and share things with you.
As I mentioned before in previous class, that thank you for tolerating us for 1.5 to 2.5 years, actually. 2 years, 2.5 years.
No,
Yeah.
it's not waiting, Prabhu. This is my good fortune to have the association of all you wonderful devotees, and this way get your blessings, and this way we all come together and glorify the Lord, get the Lord's blessings upon all of us. That is the whole goal. So it's so nice, inspiring. I really want.
The way you tell us, you nail it to the right point, and then honestly speaking, 1 hour constantly, you're telling we never get bored, Prabhuji. It goes so smooth that it doesn't get overwhelmed. It doesn't go like boring. It just goes somehow say, oh yes, next. We're very thankful, Prabhuji, really.
No, this is Krishna's mercy, and thanks to Muktasanga Prabhu and Ramchan Prabhu for arranging all of this so diligently these last 2.5 years. And I mean, I really value all of yours association. I look forward to it. So,
Muktasanga Prabhu is the leader, Prabhu.
Actually, we have to thank one person. Very much.
Vishwa.
No, I'm Vishwavana Prabhu. Anyways, I thanked him a lot, and yeah, no, I'm just being very kiddish here, but we have to thank COVID. COVID is
Yeah.
blessing in
That's
disguise. Otherwise, we would not have met.
Right.
Yes, it's like taking the opportunity in the bad times.
Yeah, so that's a blessing in disguise.
Making the most of the situation.
Yeah.
COVID will also be a Vaishnava power.
Yeah.
No, COVID is a Vaishnavi. Yeah, so actually we are planned to have in-person satsang today, but because of festival and other engagements, we were not able to have. So that's why we wanted to have Zoom, carry on the same mood as what we had yesterday.
Yeah.
Thank you, and you really re-energized us. So thank you, Prabhu.
I got re-energized by all. And
before we end, Prabhu, I had one question. So
yes,
the question is very clear. Like protection to the devotee. When we say protection to the devotee, so is that by the understanding of the devotee, what Lord protect me, or is that by the understanding, means by the mercy of the Lord, how I protect devotee? So sometimes we think like akamo sarv kamo ba moksha kama udardi. What I want, what I desire. If Lord does like that, that is my protection. My body is protected, my house is protected, my money is protected. Then I am getting protected. So So I'm trying to understand, like the protection. I
Yeah.
I have heard many things about that. Means depends upon the level of the devotee, whether the devotee is in the unified state or the Madhyama Adhikari, Uttama Adhikari, depending upon that. Lord also give the papers, exam paper to write, and I want to hear from you so that your nectar we can take that. That will be really wonderful if you can put light, Prabhu.
The Prabhuji, that is a very, very nice, very insightful question, actually, that we all have material needs, and sometimes, at least, well, there are times when we feel that if our material needs are protected by the Lord, then we are protected, But that is true. That is true. We cannot pretend that I don't have material needs and I'm not afraid that my body will be, after all, there's a certain amount of suffering that we can tolerate, but beyond that, you want to stay alive also, right? So you want protection to stay alive. Yeah. And so the way to look at it is, from my understanding, is it's not a material desire. Since you quoted the verse, Akama Sarva Kamava, it is not a material desire to seek protection for your body, because we are eternal spirit souls. So the nature of the spirit soul is to stay alive. And therefore, even when the body is dwindling, the soul wants to stay alive. So that is why when we pray to the Lord to protect our body, there are two things we can ask the Lord. Lord, please protect my body so that I can enjoy the resources of material nature. Or I can say that, Lord, please protect my body so I'm able to serve you. Yeah. The purpose, see, this body is a gift of the Supreme Lord. And every devotee, one of the meaning of self-realization is that we realize that we are the spirit soul, we are not this body, right? We realize that we are spirit soul. And then because we realize we are spirit soul, then we get sambandha gyan, that our sambandh is with Krishna as his servant. And so if I have sambandha gyan, then what will my karma be? To serve Krishna. What will my desire? To serve Krishna. Now, how do I serve Krishna? I need some resource to serve Krishna. What is that resource? It's the body. If I don't have the body, how will I serve Krishna? So to protect the body, to seek protection for this body such that I am able to serve Krishna, that's the right desire. After all, Prahlad Maharaj also stood there with his hands folded, seeking protection from the Lord so that he stays safe. Draupadi, when she was helpless, she raised her hands. She said, Krishna, protect me. Krishna protected her. That wasn't a material desire. That is the natural position of the soul to want to stay alive. Right. So it's okay to ask for protection for the body, but with the desire to serve the Lord. Actually, just this last weekend, Mukta Sangha Prabhu, your Guru Maharaj was here. So Vaisheshika Prabhu. And there was something very nice that he said in this regard. And he said, that so many times all of us have been in a situation where we say that, okay, my Lord, if you help me out this time, please bail me out of this problem this time. I'll try to be a better person. I'll try to be a better devotee. I'll try not to make this mistake again, blah, 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 right? We all go through these situations, we all go through these situations. But if we use the situation to try and please the Lord and to try and promise him that if save me this time, please, I'll use the outcome to serve you better, to have stronger faith in you, to be a better person, be a better devotee, then it's not a material desire. Then it's a desire to try and serve the Lord better. So that is one part of it when you said, that how should we view this kind of a desire. Second, difference between Uttam, Madhyam and Kanishta Adhikari. Yes, depending upon the situation, the Lord presents the devotee with different circumstances. And what one devotee can tolerate, maybe another one cannot. You know, you see some very exalted Vaishnavas, how much bodily discomfort and they can handle. We wonder how are they even doing it. But then again, you know, the Lord gives us the strength to handle it if we remember the Lord. So to your point about, is it our understanding or is it the Lord's mercy? It is a combination of both. With your understanding, you'll put in the effort to try and you pray to the Lord, that's you making the effort. Oh God, please help me. You're not saying there's no God, God cannot help. You know, you're saying there is God, God can help. So you put in the effort, you pray to him to help. And then the Lord is pleased with your reaching out to him like Gajendra did. And then he rescues. So if we have faith, the Lord will reciprocate and continue to pray to him and offer our obeisances to him and try to improve ourselves and say, okay, I've made mistakes. Forgive me. Please help me be a better devotee. Just like Mataji was saying also.
Yeah.
If we pray for a quality, then the Lord will give the quality. So similarly, if we pray to him for protection, it's okay. He will protect us.
Yeah. Very nice, Prabhu. Yeah.
All right, Prabhuji. I think we'll stop here. Then,
Thank you very much, too. We
Very nice class, Prabhuji.
That's the time we didn't know.
Thank
didn't
you.
realize.
thank you all, Mataji's, Prabhuji's.
And
Thank you.
Prabhuji,
Thank
next
you,
week,
Prabhu.
satsang is at our place. So please come in person. All are invited. Friday. Okay. So
Okay.
Ajit Krishna Prabhu, you have to plan, Prabhuji, one of the Fridays to come to Bensalam Bhakti Group. Maybe in this summer, Prabhuji, again, regular weather, all that. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure if you plan, it will come. If you desire, it will come. We'll feel very
Yes,
nice.
Prabhu.
Like
Yeah.
if Krishna wills, I will
You will
definitely.
come.
Yeah.
You will come. I know you will
We
come.
all will pray, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Maybe with your
Please
prayer.
come. Yeah,
Maybe
please
with
come with family, Prabhuji. It will be really nice.
Okay, Mataji. Certainly, we'll certainly pray to the Lord to give us the strength and ability and be able to do it maybe then at some point. So, but thank you all so much. And I look forward next time when there is a Zoom session, we'll get each other's association again on Zoom. And till then, Vancha Kalpatur Vishya ke paas
Kripa Sindhu Bhaiya Cha Patitanam Pavane Dev
Namo
Vaishnava
Dev
Dev
Vaishnava Dev.
Namo Namah.
Koti Vaishnava
Krishna.
Shila Prabhupada
Jai.
Jai Krishna
Jai.
Prabhu.
Jai.
Thank
Hare
you. Thank you. Thank you very
Pray
much.
for all of us too,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Certainly, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank
Hare
you, Prabhuji
Krishna.
and Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.